Imagine you could slip your feet into a pair of sneakers and without even looking down, they're laced up. The catch, however, it could cost you up to $60,000. I've always thought that around 2020 we would have futuristic things like flying cars and actual hoverboards. Although Tesla has gotten a head start on innovation with completely self-driven cars, today we're going to be taking a look at something different: sneakers. In terms of mainstream appeal, Nike CEO Mark Parker believes that the future of self-lacing shoes will be as big as self-driving cars. As convenient as it is to have self-tying shoes, is it really worth $60,000? Let's jump back to the very beginning of auto-lacing technology. In April of 2009, major sneaker producer Nike filed a patent for self-lacing shoes, with a design similar to those worn by Marty McFly in the 1989 film Back to the Future 2.
Power laces, alright!
While this patent caused speculation to arise for the possible debut of self-lacing sneakers, it didn't happen. Despite the Nike patent in 2010, Blake Bevan, a self-described science geek, created a prototype of self-lacing shoes inspired by the same film. The shoes had an integrated sensor that records the pressure of the foot on the sole to activate two servo motors. The motors apply tension to the laces to tighten the shoes. With this prototype, Bevan founded Power Laces and started a Kickstarter project to fund the development of a commercial version. The project was successful and raised a total of $25,024. When asked for a response to the Nike patent story, Bevan responded,
The system that I have in mind for the final version, I think it's going to be a lot more compact, also a little more powerful. And so I don't think there's going to be any problems with patent infringement or anything like that.
I have my doubts that Nike will be releasing anything close to the Power Laces in the near future, and I believe my project can fill that niche. I also think that the mechanism in my version will be able to differentiate itself from other patents or designs. In simple words, Bevan decided to fight the Nike patent, fuel her passion for gadgets and sci-fi to create Power Laces despite Nike's attempt to claim technology for themselves. It wasn't until 2015 when Nike introduced a sneaker with the power lacing technology. Nike unveiled its own version of the self-tying shoe, the HyperAdapt 1.0. The design of the footwear was executed by Tinker Hatfield and CEO Mark Parker. While the HyperAdapt did not have any real laces, the sneaker uses pressure monitors to conform the shoe's cushion to the foot's shape. Once the user steps in, the heel will press a sensor to automatically tighten. The Electro-Adaptive Lacing System was abbreviated as EARL. At the time of official release, the sneakers were set for a price of $720, and in a very limited quantity. In the same year, Puma unveiled the Puma Autodisc. The main difference is that Autodisc had the built-in motors wrapped around the front part of the foot rather than behind the soles. This allows the Autodisc to flex more like ordinary sneakers. However, there were some drawbacks to Puma's technology. One drawback is that unlike Nike's automatic lacing from pressure sensors, Puma's Autodisc requires the push of a button on the top of the sneaker. The Autodisc has not been released commercially as of today, with only 50 pairs in circulation, many of whom belong to professional athletes like Usain Bolt and Ricky Fowler. While the HyperAdapt and Puma Autodisc are cool versions of the self-tying sneaker, nothing can really compete against the iconic power lacing shoes that Marty McFly wore in Back to the Future Part 2.
Because this right here is the finest footwear available on the market today. Let me introduce you to the future.
This is the Nike Meg. You may recognize it as one of the sneakers that Marty McFly wore in Back to the Future Part 2. This is a limited shoe created by Nike to replicate the same pair of sneakers that McFly wore. The shoe was released twice, once in 2011 and once again in 2016. Both of the launches were extremely limited in quantity, with 1,510 pairs released in 2011 and only 89 pairs in 2016. It all began in 1989. When Nike designer Tinker Hatfield was approached to create a shoe for the second installment of the Back to the Future series. The movie was set in the quote-unquote futuristic year of 2015. The shoes had features such as light-up panels and self-fastening laces. 15 years later, an online petition surfaced and caught the attention of Hatfield, encouraging him to recreate the shoes. Hatfield employed the help of the footwear innovator Tiffany Beers and began to build the Nike Meg from scratch. They worked on the shoe together for approximately 6 years and poured in thousands of hours of work to create the perfect replica in 2011. This featured an electroluminescent outsole, space-age materials, and a rechargeable internal battery that is good for up to 3,000 hours. The self-fastening laces, however, were not present. 1,500 pairs of the 2011 Nike Meg were auctioned on eBay, with proceeds being donated to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, a foundation started by the actor who played Marty McFly. Online sales range between $2,300 to $9,959 for each pair. The last 10 pairs were sold exclusively by Nike at live auctions around the world. In the movie Back to the Future Part 2, Marty McFly visited a very specific day, October 21st, 2015. On the same day, Nike decided to unveil a self-lacing version of the Nike Mag, which was set to go on sale in 2016. This version of the Nike Mag had similar technology to the HyperAdapt 1.0. It used pressure sensors to detect the optimal weight of the user's foot to determine the level of tightening. The inside of the shoe also features buttons to adjust the level of tightening in case the sensors worked incorrectly. The very first pair was handed to Michael J. Fox in October 15th, while the other 89 pairs were released through a Nike raffle. Anyone could purchase the raffle ticket for $10, with all proceeds being donated to Michael J. Fox Foundation. In total, the two releases of the limited Nike Mag raised $16.5 million for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. According to StockX, a platform for buying and selling these exclusive type of sneakers, the current resale price sits at $33,422 and $106,953 for the 2016 model. Now I know what you're thinking. What is the big deal? Why can't people just take a few minutes out of their time to properly tighten their shoes?
Can you tie my shoe? I can't tie my shoe, man.
While the sneaker technology may come as a luxury to everyday users, it's important to note that this technology could be revolutionary for users with disabilities like Parkinson's. Blake Bevan, the founder of Power Laces, mentioned that her grandmother also had Parkinson's, and it was a secondary reason to her inspiration of inventing the Power Lace technology. And of course, Michael J. Fox's contribution through the sales of the Nike Mag to research a cure for Parkinson's. So while it may seem like a luxury price for everyday users to pay, it's a small price for users with disabilities to be able to improve their quality of life. The second big deal for self-tying shoes is that there's an ongoing race happening right now. A race to become the market leader for self-tying shoes. With prices being so hefty, the companies are working behind the scenes to make this technology affordable for everyone. It's just a matter of who's going to make it happen first. As of 2019, the latest developments in auto-lacing sneakers are the Adapt BB, which is the HyperAdapt version of basketball shoes. The technology went hand in hand with Nike's new digital app software. The shoes retailed for $350. Still quite a hefty price for the average consumer. Puma is still innovating and have announced the Puma self-lacing sneakers, which is expected to reach the commercial market in 2020. As for Blake Bevan and her Power Laces, the company has been inactive with their last post on Facebook being 2015. Something to keep in mind with the developments in this technology is that one major sneaker producer that has been silent throughout this 10-year race so far is Adidas. It's only a matter of time before we find out. What are your thoughts on auto lacing? Is it worth the price? Let us know in the comments below.